So Asana Partners has more than $7 billion worth of assets under management. They focus on urban and near urban neighborhoods across the United States. So today we're going to dig into the Asana portfolio. And we're also going to talk about what kinds of retail tenants are active right now in these neighborhood markets. My guest today is Clare Walsh with Asana Partners. Live from New York, it's Where We Buy. That's right, you're listening to Where We Buy. It's the show where we talk with retail experts and we visit the places where we buy. My name is James Cook. I research retail and real estate for JLL. And today we're recording live from the JLL booth at ICSC New York. Welcome, Clare, to Where We Buy.
Thanks for having me.
So, thank you so much for joining me. I think that Asana has a really interesting portfolio, and I want to dig into that. I want to find out more about your role. Actually, let's start with that. So what is your role at Asana?
So my role at Asana is I lead the leasing and merchandising strategy for the company across the U.S.
Okay, good. So you're the person I want to talk to.
I hope so.
I want to find out about the hot and cold tenant categories, the tenants that you're seeing, maybe the tenants that you're saying no to, all that stuff. But first, we need, for folks that aren't familiar, to give them a little detail on what Asana's portfolio looks like. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so we're a vertically integrated, retail-focused investment firm. Today, as you mentioned, we're across the top 25 MSAs, $7 billion under management. A lot of what we focus on and a trend that we saw around 10 years ago, we actually just hit our 10-year anniversary this year.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thank you. And a lot of what we saw is really the consumer, they wanted to spend time closer to where they live, closer to where they worked. And really that meant neighborhood retail. So that could mean, street retail. It could mean a lifestyle center, an outdoor center, whether it's anchored or unanchored. And so we're about identifying neighborhoods that are in the path of travel for the consumer and their daily life.
Gotcha. So not every neighborhood center makes sense for Asana. So what's the Asana difference? Like, what's something you really like?
So first, we have, over a dozen qualitative and quantitative factors that we look at. And so we have a very specific kind of demographic profile that we're looking at as well across the country. But things that are really important to us are some of the, qualitative factors, like authentic buildings are really important to us, and walkability. We own a ton of historic buildings. If you look at our portfolio across the country as well, we own a Newbury Street in Boston, Larimer Square in Denver. But a lot of what we do is we'll come in and we're very active investors. So we're trying to find neighborhoods and properties that maybe have been undermanaged. It's sitting in the heart of a community, and maybe the demographics have changed, and the merchandising doesn't really match the people who are living there today. The group, they've been cash flowing it, and we really are active. So we're coming in, we're remodeling, we're finding ways, how do we, create common areas for placemaking? How do we activate the space with events? And then how do we make sure that merchandising then, is representative of the places and the people that live there? So that's a lot about, what we do.
So you're not just passive owners.
No.
Like, you're really, really engaged.
Yep.
Well, it's interesting. So you mentioned Newbury Street, which, I think of as almost like a luxury corridor. Larimer in Denver, which is, I guess that's like touristy, right? A lot of restaurants. That's when I go there, is to go eat at a restaurant, right? So is there a tourist element to your portfolio at all?
No, that's just like the cherry on top for any neighborhood.
Okay.
I'd say what's very important to us at the end of the day is that kind of permanent population. So we are in the heart of where people live. And so if there's tourism, amazing, but we never want to ever rely on tourism for any of our cities or neighborhoods or properties.
Yeah, that's really smart. Tourists come and go, right? Depending
Exactly.
on a lot of outside factors that you don't have any control over.
Yeah, and we experienced that during COVID.
Yeah,
Yep.
Right. Would you say there's a common theme in the markets that you're in?
Ooh, I'd say what we're really known for across the country, the common theme is that we're really focused on, convenience. Like, it's a trend over the past 10 years. Like, we were purpose-built around being close to the consumer. And so that's one, major theme, I'd say, that you'd see around us and our portfolio. And then other kind of major themes, if you think about what we do across the country, is, we're vertically integrated. So we have, a development team, we have a leasing team, we've got an investments team. So they're out really thinking about what's the best, how do we really transform this place into what it should be across the country.
I gotcha. Are there any kinds of cities that Asana wouldn't look at, or is it really more about the neighborhood and the city's not as important?
No, the city is definitely important. So it's, population density, population growth. What are the macro trends happening in these cities? If you were to look at our portfolio, we're across the eastern seaboard, we're across the western seaboard, Dallas is one of our largest markets. We're in the Midwest, so Chicago, Minneapolis. We're in the Mountain West, so we're in Denver and Salt Lake City. So those are where we are today. So it's really about, I don't want to give you the, secret playbook, James,
right.
but we have,
Come on.
Yeah, I know. I got to keep some close to the vest, but we have very specific criteria that we look for in cities, but that's just, some of the cities where we are today.
Okay. So I was going to ask you, tell me about your favorite property in the portfolio. I know you probably don't want to pick favorites, so give me your top, whatever. What's your Claire's top 3 properties in the portfolio?
Okay. You can never pick a favorite child. Okay, I will say the first one is a fun one because it's rare in our business.
Okay.
So Dallas Design District.
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar with the neighborhood.
I'm not sure. I know the Miami Design District.
So it actually had a similar kind of history and trajectory. So it's 2 minutes from Uptown. You're just south of Highland Park Village.
Okay, I've been to those places.
Great.
Yeah.
So it's basically right off the tollway. So major thoroughfare within Dallas. And because of the access, this place has transformed over the past, couple decades. So it's really been a place of textiles. Then really high-end home came in. Because of that, you had hospitality come in. So some of the best restaurateurs in Dallas all landed here. All the galleries used to be sprinkled throughout Dallas, and then they all congregated on this really cool street called Dragon in the neighborhood.
Dragon.
Ooh, yes.
I love it.
So it has this really great creative arts element to the neighborhood. Major food group came in and planted their first flag in Dallas with Carbone in the neighborhood. Lucchese Boots, amazing boot company. So they're based in Dallas. They moved their headquarters here. It's a really cool story. They basically had people starting to knock on their door. They wanted to buy boots. And they weren't open. So they decided to open a boutique. And in this location, you can go and you can meet a design consultant. They'll sit down with you. They'll do a private fitting. They'll talk to you about personalizing your boots, customizing your boots. So it's a really special experience. And so this neighborhood, why I say it was a rare opportunity for us that's really hard to find, is that we've been looking at it for several years. The property is 160,000 square feet, single story parking, which Dallas you need. And the prior owner was looking at building density. So when we were able to unlock it and acquire this project, we had a blank canvas to really transform it and bring in the merchandising that we wanted to, which is extremely rare, as you know, in our business. And so twofold, a lot of the retailer relationships that we have across the country, they love Dallas. It's a great consumer. They want to be in the Dallas market. It's really tight in terms of supply and all the supply to demand mix that we're seeing across the country today. And they didn't know where to go. So we've signed multiple first to Dallas concepts at this project. We're currently under construction, delivering next year, opening next fall. So it's been a fun one because we can really put our stamp on it and create something new and special.
It was a redevelopment of a
existing building.
Okay.
So it was a collection of 6 buildings.
Okay.
It actually was an old office park.
Oh, nice.
And then you have Carbone right next door. You've got the Mexican right across the street, Lucchese, and all of the galleries are adjacent to our site. So it's a lot of great, interesting, concepts are all congregating in this neighborhood, and rare for us to be able to come in and create something kind of new and special.
I love it.
Yeah.
You just totally sold me on the vision. I'm like, I must go to this place.
We'll have to have you.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, the Clare countdown continues. What's your second? Your second favorite.
Okay. Totally opposite end of the spectrum. So our headquarters is in Charlotte, North Carolina. The first assets that we actually bought were in this neighborhood. So it's the South End neighborhood of Charlotte.
Okay.
You're adjacent to also an uptown. The uptown in Charlotte is like their central business district. And what happened is you had the light rail come in, you had this rail trail come in, which is the rail trail is like, picture like the High Line in New York or the Belt Line in Atlanta. So you have people running, biking, walking their dogs. And that transformed like multifamily in this neighborhood. So it's become this great hub for millennials, for Gen Z. And so they'll live in uptown, or they'll live in South End, they'll work in uptown, they'll even sometimes work in South End. So you had this transformation happen. So we started investing there over just about 10 years ago. And we brought the first Jenny's to the city of Charlotte. We brought the first Barcelona to the city of Charlotte. We brought the first Patagonia. So it's been a really exciting project. And most recently, what I love about this project is it kind of hits on everything in terms of what the consumer wants in having it be convenient for where they live. And so most recently, we signed a deal with Abercrombie. They opened with us a couple months ago. And so this hits on another kind of macro trend and something that's really based in our whole strategy, but small format retail. So Abercrombie, historic mall retailer, and they've been working on their off-mall strategy. And what they'll tell you, and a lot of retailers today, is they want to be as close to their end consumer as possible. And so they did this concept in Newbury. They opened with us in South End, and they're seeing real success. So their customer doesn't have to, drive 40 minutes to, go experience them at the mall. And retailers have found ways to be really productive in these smaller formats. So they, traditionally they're, 7 to 10,000. They opened with us in just under 5,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. What I'm noticing is, as we're talking, is a lot of times I talk to real estate people and I ask them about, what's your favorite center? And it's like, the square footage and the demographics.
Yeah.
And you're telling me the story of the place, which is what people really care about. So kudos to you. Like
Thank you.
You're painting the picture. You should do, you could do a radio show radio show. What am I talking about?
I'm on one.
We're on the podcast. You should do a podcast about these different neighborhoods because you're selling me on all of them. I said we're going to do 3.
Oh.
So can you think of one more?
Yes, I can think of one more. So neighborhood center, because that's different. We talked like a little bit about, street retail. So this is a neighborhood center, Salt Lake City.
Okay, I've never been to Salt Lake City.
Oh, it's one of my favorite cities.
Really?
Whenever you want to go, I will tour you through this city. I used to live in California, so it was really easy for me to get to. Now I'm in New York, but so East Bench neighborhood. It's right in the heart of Salt Lake City. You're right by the I-80, so that takes you directly into Park City. You're less than 20 minutes to get there, and you have these like beautiful foothills. So you have these like gorgeous homes sitting in the foothills with these like great views. Some of the best school systems in Salt Lake City surround this neighborhood. The project we bought was historically really well leased, so totally different than the design district project in terms of what we're creating. And it's grocery anchored. And it needed a refresh. It was like right in the heart of the community. They frequented it, but it needed new storefronts and it needed a right size suite. So there was a vacant Steinmart box that's like 32,000 square feet. So we came in, totally demolished it. We right sized suites. So take that 32,000 to like 1,500 to 5,000 square feet. And the cool thing about this project is there's a city park that's directly behind it. And so the Steinmart Parks demoed it. We created this connectivity to the park, all new common areas. We're activating it with like movies, games. There's tons of families that all live in this neighborhood and they can actually walk from their homes with their little strollers to this place. And the city owns it. So they've now reinvested in upgrading the park. And then we brought Sam Fox, an incredible, restaurant group based out of Arizona. He opened his first location in the state with us with Flower Child.
Good.
We have Solid Core coming as well.
Solid Core, we just recorded a show with them today.
Amazing.
Yesterday. That'll be out. for listeners, I don't know if you've heard it or not, but they're awesome too. So
we have, I can't even tell you how many locations we have with them. We love them. They've been incredible partners, and they definitely fit, what we're looking to do. And also they're fitting with what's happening in from a wellness standpoint. So love them. So they're going to be there with us. We also open, Shake Shack. We opened this incredible multi-label boutique out of Denver. So it's been a fun one just because of the connectivity to the city and the customer, and they've been really supportive of us coming in and investing in this place.
That's awesome. All right, I have to check all of those out. The one I'll remember is the street name Dragon. That's easy to remember.
Never forget.
Okay, so you're seeing all the tenants, and you're out. People are reaching out to you, and you're probably reaching out to the ones that you're interested in. Have you seen shifts, I don't know, let's say in the past 6 to 12 months on types of tenants that are active, actively looking?
Yeah, I'd say, I wouldn't say it's over the past 6 to 12 months, but it's been that macro shift in wellness, and it was happening before COVID, but COVID definitely kind of pushed it even further, and people care about how they feel, both physically and mentally. You look at the wellness economy in the U.S. alone, it's a $2 trillion economy, and that's only growing. So you have more wellness-based concepts than at any other point in the past few decades. And so that's been an incredible trend that is here to stay. And the interesting thing is it's bleeding not just in terms of what you'd expect a traditional wellness, concept to be, but that whole trend is even bleeding into restaurants, with restaurants doing mocktails and refreshers. And so it's hitting restaurants, it's hitting the goods category within fashion, and it's hitting, traditional service too.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Has there been a change in volume? Is activity up, down? Any thoughts on that?
It's a good question. I get that question all the time, especially this year, given, tariffs. And so we had a slowdown in when tariffs first hit. It's not that deals were dying. People just were waiting to sign. But that has since totally rebounded. We're outperforming last year. A lot of the retailers that I talked to, and we're outperforming both from square footage and deal count, but a lot of the retailers that I talked to, they've filled 2026. They're focused on 2027. They're now even looking at 2028. So a lot of that has to do with the incredible, supply-demand dynamics that we have in retail today. But no, transaction volume's in a really, really healthy, positive place.
Interesting. So what kind of tenants are that you wish there were more of? What are you out there looking for that you're man, I need another one of these, and or are there plenty out there to choose from?
I'm so glad you asked this, because it's something that I want in every property and project, and it's hard to find. So an all-day cafe, okay?
Oh, yeah.
It's so simple. But it from morning to night, it's active, and people want that, from your morning cup of coffee to a nightcap at night. And there's incredible places like Mama, and you've got Tate, you've got Pura Vida. But when you go to some of these smaller markets where maybe they're not there yet, it's really hard to find that. And we love what that does in terms of activity at a project or a neighborhood. We're really about creating places that are busy 7 days a week, and really from morning to night. And so that central gathering place with an all-day cafe is the perfect way to, light that spark in a neighborhood.
So there's just not that many out there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Are there local operators that are doing it well, do you think?
Some, it's rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would imagine the trick is they're very expensive to run.
Exactly.
and the margins can be tough.
Right.
And the fact that it's an all-day cafe means, high school kids hang out for 3 hours and buy one cold drink,
And then work there all day.
Right.
Well, and the other thing that's hard is even from a staffing standpoint, and a lot of people haven't figured out how to transform from the lunchtime to the evening. And you have to change the environment, physically, to do that, have the right lighting. So a lot of people miss it they can do the morning, they can do the day part of lunch, and they miss it at that evening time. So
Right.
that's where like it really takes someone who's hyper focused and experienced to do that.
That's cool. Yeah, you've got to be very thoughtful and know what you're doing.
Right.
I was just thinking about like, turning down the lights and turning up the music.
Yeah.
There's
Set the mood.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you seeing any differences for F&B, which is so important to get that right?
Right.
Are you seeing differences in the kinds of cuisine, the kinds of food that are expanding right now, or is it kind of just variations on the same themes that we've already seen?
There are better Asian restaurants in this country than ever before, and not even just restaurants, but like what's happening in the beauty space there, from like incredible Korean beauty coming to the U.S. Din Tai Fung. I lived in LA and I miss. Now they're luckily in New York, but I was like, I want those dumplings every single day of my life. So you had Paradise Dynasty, same thing. That's a huge trend that's happening, and they're just elevating the experience, elevating the food. A couple really great players, and people love it. And even Korean barbecue. I go here in New York. There's like 2 amazing places that I can't get enough of. So I think Korean, Japanese types of concepts and Chinese concepts, both from restaurants and beauty, are a really exciting trend that we're seeing in the U.S.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, it's a moment right now where there's so many Asian, both from the U.S., Asian inspired, and then like from China,
right.
Japan, Korea, coming to the U.S. and giving us. We've never, outside of the major cities, we've never had the diversity. It's like you get Chinese and Thai, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's all this different kind of stuff.
And it's authentic,
Yeah. And for me, a lot of it's new too, because I'm no food expert, and I love exploring all this. And you talked about Din Tai Fung. I'd never been there. I just went there for the first time a couple of weeks ago.
I was like, we got to take you out, James.
Oh my gosh. I went to the one in Costa Mesa at South Coast Plaza.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, the waiting list is like 2.5 hours. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to walk around the mall. And I was like, is this going to be worth the wait? And folks, I'm here to tell you it was. The xiaolong bao, the pork soup dumplings are amazing, but everything is so out of sight.
Even the green beans. I mean, who would have thought you could make a green bean taste so good?
Folks,
I know.
The green beans were my favorite thing.
It's the best.
Green beans.
I know.
How do you do it?
I have no idea. I need the recipe.
I don't know. Anyway, we've gone off topic, but not really, because this is the point.
This is what we do.
Yeah, people want fresh, new, interesting foods, and and the price point's not ridiculous. I mean, that it's can be tough to get in because it's a long wait, right? But
it's accessible.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely accessible. I mean, it's a little pricey, but anyway. I know you recently sold a portfolio in the Krog district in Atlanta, which is a really cool place. Tell me a little bit about that story. What was it like when you acquired it? What changes did you make before you resold it?
So Krog District, it's an award-winning food hall, and that was there. And we saw that, and we saw the volumes that were coming out of there. We saw the foot traffic that was, frequenting this place, like throughout the week. It wasn't just, you look at some food halls and they're only busy on the weekends. Those are not going to survive. They need to really be busy throughout the week. And so we saw these great fundamentals with the food hall, and then it was on the Beltline. So the Beltline loop around the city. What we really liked about the Beltline in Atlanta, we're actually the largest retail owner on the Beltline in Atlanta, so firm believers on what that's doing for the city. But it really connects people. They're not using it just to work out. They're using it.
And for folks that aren't familiar, the Beltline is...
Oh, so it is a loop around the city, a walking path, biking path, but instead of a traditional one that you think of where people are using it to, work out, train for their marathons, they're using it actually to run their errands. So they'll go to the grocery store, then they'll go home using the Beltline. So it's this connectivity within the city, so you don't have to be in your car. So it was on the Beltline. You had this amazing food hall. And you had a lot of multifamily development, but you also, the cool history, because I feel like you like history. So the cool history is that it was an old kind of Coca-Cola bottling facility that was there. So like Coke used to bottle here. All the Coke executives used to like live in this neighborhood. So you have these like really cool, like older homes. Tons of millennials were moving there. And so we had the opportunity to buy Krog, the surrounding buildings. And then we bought this gravel lot. And you'll see us rarely do development. We'll do development when, it's a proven neighborhood. We have like pent up demand and we really know the city. And so we transformed this gravel lot into, we added density. So we added retail and we added office. And so we added Patagonia. They're, been a really good partner of ours. Jenny's Ice Cream, who, this is a fun story, but they had a location in the market. And when we were, doing this major remodel and redevelopment, they signed a location with us on the street. And they're like, okay, we'll close the, market once they open the street. They performed so well and didn't see cannibalization that they kept both open. It was like one of those.
Wow.
Like, I know, you're like, I wish I could find neighborhoods like this and projects like this everywhere. And then, Heyday opened with us. Yeti's actually under construction, about to open soon as well. So that'll be the first Yeti in Atlanta. So that was a really fun one in terms of transforming. There was already great bones in terms of the customer and the people and the market, but really adding density and re-merchandising to fit to the consumer that now lives there.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeti's an interesting brand. I think I've been into one Yeti store. Are they kind of like flagshipy? Like, are they doing interesting stuff in those?
Yeah, I'm assuming you went to the one on South Congress in Austin.
Right.
Yes,
right.
So that was their number one. But I mean, you can go there, you can customize the coolers that they're wanting. I was actually just there about a month ago. And so yes, it's more about the experience because they have a huge wholesale business too. So it's like you can go to REI and a lot of these outdoor groups and you can get their products. So for them, it's more about like creating an environment that their consumer is excited about. And so they have a bar, they do events, they'll bring in speakers. And so, yeah, they really wanted it to be about the Yeti brand.
Oh, that's really cool. What a great story, kind of like re-envisioning, not changing the nature, but just improving on the nature of commercial real estate. So that's really cool. So I don't want to ask you to predict the future because that's impossible, but let's say, since you see so many tenants, mm-hmm. what are some categories or types of tenants that maybe you think might get hotter or bigger? And it could be even something small that you like that nobody else likes or whatever. What's that thing that might be big in the future that people aren't talking about yet?
Oh, that's a fun one. Okay, I'm so tired of the word, but I have experiential retail. Like, it's just going to be here to stay. We did, do you know Malbon Golf? It's like...
No.
It's this like cool contemporary golf apparel. And it's higher end, and they have really leaned into experience. So they opened actually up with us in Houston a couple weeks ago. And they in this really cool bungalow, and they did this whole putting green outside.
Oh, fun!
And then they have the golf simulator inside. But you walk in, they're giving you champagne, and you're like, I want to spend money here, So I think that finding ways to really draw on your customer, make it feel like they're at home, both through design and having events and activations, like that's going to be something that retailers are continuing to test and will be here. That'll be a trend that'll evolve over the coming 10 years. And then in terms of wellness, personalization, customization of wellness. I'm so excited with what AI will do to the personalization and customization of wellness.
Oh, well, tell me more. What do you think that would be like?
I mean, people even have Oura rings.
Yeah.
Imagine going into a place, they can scan your face, they can scan your body, and they can tell you exactly what you need, and then they can give you a custom experience to fit exactly your skin type and your biology. That's really cool. Exciting. I think what's going to happen in wellness with AI.
That's interesting. Yeah, and to get, a custom prescription or whatever for what ails you, that's like the dream.
Right.
Right? That's really cool. So I was thinking as you were talking about some different projects, there were a few tenants that came up multiple times. I think Patagonia, Jenny's, maybe there were some others. Are there certain tenants who just come to you without a specific property in mind, but just know that you have these types of properties, and then it's sort of like you work with them on, at a portfolio level? Does that happen a lot?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think because of what we've built and what we look for, a lot of brands now, one, they know that we're going after the same customer that they're going after, so that is a great, easy box check for them. And then two, they know that we'll invest in upgrades. So we'll really transform a place, we'll invest in improving it, we'll invest in activating it from a marketing standpoint, and we'll invest in bringing the merchandising that is exciting to them and the customer. So they know that we are active and we'll bring things that will overall lift their business and make them successful in the place.
So I'll end on a personal question. So you lived in LA and then now you're in New York. We're here in New York. So what do you like most about New York compared to LA? I know this is a cliched question people ask, but this is something you're living. So what's the difference for you?
So I grew up here.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's a little different, but I will say, what drew me back is the energy.
Yeah.
I miss the sunshine and the palm trees. I will, do not get me wrong. I miss that. But I miss the energy, the culture, the people. People are hardworking. There's a hustle here that it's in my soul, and I needed to be back.
I love it. The hustle of the city.
Yes.
No doubt about it. There is no more energy in any city in let's say North America anyway. I'm sure there's plenty of cities outside of North America I haven't been to, but man, this place is alive.
It's electric.
It is absolutely electric. Well, Clare Walsh, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
This has been super cool. And if you want to hear more interviews, audio retail tours, and new research insights, you can subscribe to Where We Buy on the iPhone podcast app. We're on Spotify, or you can find us on the web. Just go to wherewebuy.show. And that's a wrap.
Amazing. This is so fun.